Well, Ken, how disappointing was that lack of composure late to invite them to take hold of the momentum?
Yeah, it was disappointing. We didn't, we played okay through patches in the night, but when the game was up for grabs, they dominated us in the contest. They were, they were best stronger and more willing to keep going for the whole way. So yeah, it was really disappointing on that.
You just had the group in the rooms there. What was your initial message?
Oh, I think a similar message as I just said. It was around the contest and our ability to play out the fourth quarter, where they got a little sniff, and we know how they've been feeling, and they took that energy they got from that and really took control of the game. And the disappointing part is that our key players, our better players, were the ones who we needed to stand up. They just weren't quite at that level all the way through the game.
It's probably one of the more fumbly aerial matches, not just on your behalf, but Essendon's as well. What did you sort of put that down to, or make of it?
Oh, I think it wasn't a pretty game of footy. There was some, it wasn't an extraordinary number of turnovers or anything, but they were just bad turnovers for both teams, particularly in the first half. And they sort of, for us, they continued for more of the last second half than it did for Essendon. So neither team was super polished, but I think both teams were just having a crack at trying to get the ball to their end and get some score on the board. It didn't feel too clean at any stage.
Do you feel maybe the team may have, I guess, relaxed a bit when Jason put that goal in early in the last quarter? It's giving a nice buffer. Do you reckon? No. We're
mature enough to know that AFL footy's like we might have been 7-8 points maybe. I'm not sure what the score would have been. It wasn't much, and we know that this game swings really, really quickly, and momentum changes incredibly quick in the game like that. So if you're not winning the contest, every one of those opportunities forward have to work, and that's what we left too much work to too few opportunities.
You mentioned your leaders, Connor Rosie and Jason Horn-Friends, obviously great players and so on. Were you disappointed with their output or performance?
I think collectively our more senior players were a little bit down on us tonight, and they know that. They wouldn't be. They're not. They're mature enough now and understand where they're at. But you've just got to accept that they can't play great footy every week. But we had too many down together. I think that was the key to tonight. We always have some fluctuations, and unfortunately tonight we had too many players together down, probably around the ball as much as anywhere, I reckon.
It seemed like Durham had the job on Rosie.
Yeah, a little bit early, yeah.
Yeah. How did you sort of see that battle with? And mentioned Rosie there as well.
Yeah, well, Connor's been so good for us so far this year, and he was, I'm sure he would be the first to say tonight's performance wasn't what he would have hoped as he would deliver for us. But so you give the points to Durham.
You've obviously a bit undermanned, Kenny, in terms of some of the players that would normally be playing. How difficult was it to get the right structure and mix together?
Well, it's challenging to manage, but we knew what we had coming in, so we knew how we planned really well, and we have a lot of thoughts around what we may have to do or may not have to do, and that was, it's not like we can use that as an excuse. Both teams turn up with what you've got, and if you don't turn up to play, let's be honest, it was 15 minutes in the last quarter. They blew the game apart on us.
How do you reflect on the decision to play the two rucks? Do you look back at that and think you could have got more run out of another option?
Oh, I think by the end, the aerial stuff hurt us more than the run option, to be honest. Essendon had more presence in the air when it went forward for us a little bit too much. We didn't have that, and we took the ruck out at that stage. So was that perfect? I don't know, but there wasn't an influence from our taller mate other than Mitch in the first quarter and a half. I think we weren't having enough aerial influence in the front half of the ground, but we knew that going into the game. We knew that was going to be a challenge. So our ability to use the ball and run with the ball was critical to our outcomes tonight. And I would say, back to the question around an untidy game, we were too untidy, and that hurts.
When you lose Todd Marshall in the off-season and then Charlie Dixon through retirement, do you sort of feel the lack of depth now in your key stocks when Mitch Georgiades quietens down during the game?
Well, you add Jack Lukosius and Ollie Lord to that, who are all out at the same time. So yeah, we're thin on our tools, but that's going to be a challenge for a little period of time. But we're okay. We can manufacture a way to get the points if we play better as a collective through the whole game.
Was that first half in particular, you said quarter and a half from Mitch, was that sort of one of the positives you can take, the way he really controlled the game, especially in the air early days?
Again, I think it was the service that was coming, and Mitch is a good player when you give him a good look at a ball that's coming with some movement, and he can lead at the ball really well. He normally finishes a bit better. He finished really well earlier, then he missed a couple that we needed to make the most of. So we know Mitch can play. The reality is I said tonight, you've got to have 23 players, and you've got to have more of the better players to win these games of footy. We didn't have more of the better players.
What do you make of it? It's obviously very early in the season, but it's been quite a fluctuating first 3 weeks for you guys. I know it's very early, but do you still feel like you're sort of feeling away into the season? How do you sort of assess it?
Well, our form's not where it needs to be. That's fact. I mean, we've played one solid game against a younger team in Richmond last week, but you know, tonight for 3 quarters we were going okay, but we weren't playing top end footy, I don't think, at any stage. So yeah, we're still getting ourselves going, and we need to really quicken that up as best we can. And you know, AFL seasons are tough. You know, you don't always have the whole season go exactly the way you want. We need to make sure we get ourselves back on track and back into the competition, because it's going to have so many swings right through the season.
Both teams coming off a 5-day break, you get the travel thrown in as well. Was there any part of your preparation you look back on and think you could have tinkered given what we saw in that final term? And how you?
No, not too much. I mean, you know, we've had a bit of travel right from the start, as far back as the pre-season trial game. You know, into Collingwood as a travel game, and this game in a 5-day break. Yeah, but we have to travel. We're an interstate team. We travel a lot. We of all teams should be used to travel. We don't need to tinker with the amount of experience that we've got in travelling.
Miles Bergman was on and off for a bit, looked like a hamstring sort of tightness or something.
Well, we're hopeful it's a corky, so that's why he was back out there, because of the hamstring. He wouldn't have been able to. If you've seen Miles run a few times when he was back out there, he was seen to be running quite strong. But let's hope. You never know with those sort of injuries. We'll wait and see what that shows itself to be once we get back home.
Is it hard as coach, Ken, to hand a young guy Tom Cochrane his debut and then tell him he'll be starting as sub?
It's not. No, I don't know. I don't think it's hard now. I think we're getting better at understanding that. You know, we're giving some young people perhaps an opportunity to experience the AFL game early, and I think that outweighs the challenge of being a little bit of a sub. But you know, Christian Moraes last week came on as the sub and played a really solid game. It looked like he grew again tonight, I thought, the way he performed. So, you know, Tommy Cochrane got his first chance tonight. He gets a taste of AFL football, and I'm sure there'll be many more opportunities for him to come. But, you know, you have to use what you have to your advantage as best you can, and we thought the right thing to do was to start him as sub tonight. All good? Thank you.